Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Creative Sports and Marketing Talk. Today, I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to skip the sports news, and I want to get straight into your marketing tip of the day. Today, we're going to kind of talk about websites. We're going to get a little bit about something that's very important to me and what we do in our business, but also something that a lot of people, especially in today's commodity of websites, tends to be overlooked. Today, we're going to talk about reasons why you should update your website regularly. So stay tuned. All right, so today, reasons why you should update your site regularly. In today's world, having a website for your business is essential. Almost immediately when someone receives your business card, sees a flyer you put out, or is referred to your company, the first thing they are going to do is look up your website to make sure your business is real and see what you have to offer. However, just as important to having a website is maintaining it. Why? Updating your website regularly is crucial for its performance. Many people think that your website is done and over and it's a done deal, but it's not. In order for you to get the most out of your website and the financial investment you've made, you have to look after it and update periodically. So why is it important to update your website? Updating a website doesn't have to be an extensive or tedious process. However, it should be done. Even making small changes to a website can be hugely beneficial. Additionally, making little adjustments over a long period of time is much easier and more manageable than waiting a year and having to spend days taking care of your long neglected site. While there are many reasons to maintain a website, I'm just going to talk through a couple right now. So, as the web grows, Google grows. As Google grows, mobile phones grow. As mobile phones grow, the more reason to have your site mobile friendly. User experience, UI, is probably one of the most important factors of a website. A website without a positive user experience can actually be more harmful than it is beneficial. If your website loads slowly, looks out of date, or is hard to use, you're going to have the wrong impression and your profits will suffer. Keeping your website up to date with technology and relevant information is important for providing a positive user experience. So what do I mean by positive user experience? Don't have 80 colors on your page. Don't have 80 fonts. Don't think that you're the expert. You're an expert in your business. Unless you are a web designer or you own a web development company, you're not. I'm sorry. You need to hire someone that is building you a positive user experience. You have to remember your end user. If you've gone off of one of my previous videos, you will notice that I talked about branding and the importance of branding. Now, one of those importance of branding is building buyer personas. The end user is the most important part. Not what you like on your website, but what your end user is going to like on your website. You want to know how they're going to interact from going to the web, to finding you through a funnel, to going onto your website, to buying that product or contacting you for that service and contacting you. And every buyer persona is different. Every user is different. So you have to really narrow it down and you have to really build them something. The attention span these days for anyone is pretty small, say the least. I think it's like 3 seconds. If you can keep someone on your website for 5 to 10 seconds, most of the time you have a good shot of at least getting that initial call or that initial purchase if it's a product. Now, there's lots of preparation you can go around when it comes to user experience. I always tell clients if they're just starting out, don't worry too much about it. Make it like a brochure website and kind of put something up so when people search you. But once you get about 2 or 3 years in and you want to start bringing that reoccurring income in and you want to start trying to build through a funnel, really building an online presence is key, especially in today's market. A lot of people are still not developing websites. Businesses are still behind the times. And with social platforms these days, a lot of people are like, I'll just build a social platform. But that doesn't build trust, people. You need a website. You need something that people can go to and look at your information, read your blog posts, read more about you, and stay connected with you. And being able to give them a good user experience lets them feel basically, well, how do I put this? nothing. You want them to kind of subconsciously just enjoy it. If they're going on your website and they're like, I can't find this, like, how many times have you tried to order a pizza or tried to order something online and it was a pain in the butt? And there you go. There's your answer. There's the pain point. What would you do? You leave. You go somewhere else. You're like, it was only 10 seconds. You couldn't even find the ingredients, and you get pissed and you move on to the next thing. Now, the next important thing to always make sure you're updating on your website is search engine optimization, SEO. Also, when you affect your website, it usually affects your search engine rankings. Google doesn't want to steer its users to websites that are outdated and useless. You need to update your website with fresh content, graphics, information to keep it performing well on search engines. Now, that's why they call it search engine management. It's one of those things that you have to keep moving with, and I can go a lot in another video. I'll go a lot more in depth into search engine optimization and somewhat how it works. But for the time being, I'll just say that content is king, and you really want to focus on at least updating your content on certain pages here and there, maybe with better keywords and things of that nature on an ongoing basis, or having a search engine company, search engine management company work with you to kind of keep those words up to date, use new words, kind of build you so you can kind of slowly start moving up in the rankings on Google and outbeat your competitors. There's billions and billions of people. Yes, I said not a lot of businesses are taking advantage of websites, let alone search engine optimization, but there's still billions of people on the web. There's still a couple billion on the web, and those ones that have been on there for 10, 15 years when it first started have really high domain authority, and Google looks at them more importantly than they look at you. I'm sorry. So you're going to have to start slow and build, but it is an investment, and it slowly works out to your benefit. So that's number 2. Number 3, and this is a huge one, is site security. So many clients I've seen don't install or update their website. Put it this way. You have an iPhone, you have a Google phone, whatever you have. How often do they do maintenance on it? You don't see it, but how often do they say they're going to update their phone tonight? What they're doing is they're updating the code within the phone to keep it from getting hacked, to fix bugs. Websites are no different. Any technology you use is either going to be static or dynamic. And if you're using building a dynamic website, which you should be these days, using something like WordPress, using something like Magento, or even Shopify. I don't like Shopify that much, but using a platform that is getting updated regularly, because what happens is end users from other countries, maybe not from other countries, but just hackers in general, tend to try to break into your site. And if they find a loophole within your code, they will find a way in. And a lot of times those are plugins. A lot of times if you're building your own site, you think that you can do something when really you don't know 1% about it. You're going to put something on your website that's going to cause a hack. It's going to cause a break. And if you're not updating, if you have 100, if you get an iPhone 6, you don't update it for 3 years. And then, the iPhone 8 Plus comes out and you're like, hey, I'm going to update to that software, and you haven't updated in 3 years. Your phone's going to crash. I'm sorry, people. Same goes for your website. If you're not installing the security patches, you're going to be in a huge thing of hurt down the road. Your server companies will basically shut down your website because you have malware, and they will charge you to try to get rid of the malware a lot of money too. So if I were you, those are the 3 things you really need to focus on, and all 3 of those you can focus up front if you're really smart about it. There's a good web development company will design mockups, design web templates for you before you develop your website. It's process. It's always process. Those will help with your user experience at the end of the day. If they're smart, they will also be able to help you with search engine optimization. Not all do, but some do. Watch out. A lot of search engine optimization companies don't know web design. It's kind of a weird world out there. Everything's separated. So finding a nice web development company that also focuses on search engine, they can help you optimize your site right off the bat when you're getting it developed. And site security. I always prone to stick away from, besides buying URLs from GoDaddy and from those companies, they're just like anyone else. They rent server space. And Whenever something breaks on your site, they're going to blame the web developer. And half the time it's a server-based issue. So and they overprice. I'll tell you what, they definitely overprice. You definitely get more bang for your buck when you might pay a little more for your own server, but you definitely get more bang for your buck. And so those are the three things that I would really focus on. A lot of those can be set up with a company to right off the bat, and you don't have to worry about any of it. Just get in contact with your web development company, ask them about site security, maybe ask them if they do any sort of search engine optimization monthly, and if you need some new user experience and changes on your website depending on how it's built, I may suggest starting over, unless code's one of those things, my friends. Code's one of those things you really have to worry about. It takes just as long to fix someone's code as it does to develop your own. So sometimes it might just be time, as long as they're putting 301 redirects in place to save some of your search engine stuff. And if you don't know what 301 redirects are, 301 redirects are basically making sure you don't lose any Google juice. They're a way to take your old URLs and make Google see them as new URLs. That could be something we talk about in a future episode. But that's it for today. If you have any comments, right below. I also suggest you following my page or listening to more of my podcasts. And if you have any more information, you can view a post on this on my website at creative.com. I hope you all have a good day.